What is your American dream?
My American dream, I've achieved it already. I'm retired for 18 years. I get a pension and Social Security. So I got my
American dream is to kind of survive in the black and brown body, right? So whether you're Mexican, whether you're black, a lot of people are going to look at you because you're black and brown. It's just a matter of saying like, hey, like I'm in this body. I didn't choose to be in this body, but I'm still great regardless.
My American dream is honestly to get my parents a home.
My American dream is just happiness. The American dream is what you make of it. There is no one American dream. It's whatever you make of it.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. My name is Brad Bernstein. This is Brad Show Live, and I am joined, as always, by Jonathan, Yo-Yo Elias, Vanessa, Nesquik Contreras. What's happening, guys? Happy Monday, February 22nd. What's going on?
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Snow day.
It's a cold day, you said?
It's just another snow day.
Really? I've been inside all day. I didn't even realize. Has it been snowing? I have not been outside since, I haven't even looked out the window since 9:30 this morning. I have no idea.
It's been snowing and raining.
Snowing and raining. But you want to know what?
It snowed earlier, then it rained after.
But
so it's definitely a cold day.
Yeah, but you want to know what? On Brad Show Live on Mondays, whether it's snow or rain, it's always fuzzy. Remember that, right?
This is true.
It's always fuzzy on Brad Show Live on Monday. Snow, rain, sleet, whatever.
There you go.
And it's warm here. It's warm in here. I love you.
All in here.
All right, let's say hello to the squad, guys. Deion Watson, squad up. Michelle Francis, squad up. Christy Consali, how are you? Nisha Clark saying, hi, Brad team, squad up. Paulette Bryce Cameron, squad up. How are you? Jessica Leamy, how are you? David Olaf, a new member. Let's say hello to David Olaf. Give a big squad up, guys. Diane Reed, we see you watching. Sadie Oxley watching as well. Violet Blackwood, squad up. Who else we got here? It's Apple Pie. Christy Consali, Lynn Brown, Demba Sal, we see you watching, squad up. Malaya Koalala. Did I get that right? Malaya Koalala. Squad up, gang. Wet Sugar is in the house.
Wet sugar.
Wet sugar. We
Love
know
wet
when
sugar.
wet sugar is in the house. Something's going to happen. Elizabeth Francis, squad up. How are you? Nina God Pickney, squad up. And Lisa Bling, Deanna Johnson, and Vanessa Liana M. Contreras.
Full government.
Full government saying, hey, squad, in capital. You're screaming it out, Vanessa, screaming it out.
Just making sure the squad is up.
Wake up, squad, right? Let's go over to Vanessa's favorite channel, YouTube. Denise Johnson, squad up. Kimberlyn Burris, squatting right up. She's not squat up. She's in verbiage land. She's squatting right now. Sasha Style Store saying hi, squad. And Henderson Sophia, Acris, Bustamante, Jesse Peralta saying Dominican cakes are the best. I don't know who she's responding to. Who's talking about Dominican cakes? Jesse, what are you talking about? But by the way, Vanessa, you wouldn't know. Are Dominican cakes the best?
Yes, they really are.
They really are.
Or maybe, what are Dominican cakes?
I mean, it's just kind of like our specialty. They're just like really sweet and like soft. It's like a regular cake. It's just the way they bake it. It's, just a little salt thing.
Sweet. Like the people of the Dominican Republic, right?
That sounds good.
And Miloslav Minkov. It doesn't matter if it snows or windy raining or sunny. Today is Fuzzy Monday with Uncle Brad and the squad. All right, I thought he was getting in early on his Poetry Thursdays, but it wasn't.
Did you talk about, you said Edline Belas?
I'm sorry?
Edline Beas, maybe?
I did not see that, Squatty.
Well, they're saying squad up, first time watching, so we just want to give a big old welcome. So big up welcome.
All right.
Big old welcome to you. Squad up.
Big up welcome. Jonathan, Vanessa, why don't you take it away?
Absolutely. All right, squad, you already know what time it is. I need you guys to please share from every single platform that you guys are watching from, okay? Because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad real soon. He's going to break down more about President Biden's new amnesty immigration bill.
And it's Fuzzy Monday, so get ready to hear the latest animal stories to warm your heart.
And of course, there is a number, as we say every day, scrolling on the bottom. And there I am, my head on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a suit, saying, call us, 1-800-529-5465. International, it's 212-227-8933. Our first 14 calls get you on our show to ask your immigration question in about 30 minutes or so. You may have to hold a little bit because we do the top 14, the first 14. But if you get in on the queue and you call now, you will get to talk to me live in about 30 minutes or so. Also, it's the same telephone number to call if you'd like to make a consultation with us here at Spar and Bernstein. And of course, later I'm going to speak with professional trumpeter Kiku Collins about her career performing with artists such as Beyonce and her family's immigration story. Yo-Yo and Vanessa.
Yeah.
You know what time it is?
Time
It's
to
empty.
schmooze with Brad.
Yeah, schmoozing with Brad and Vanessa and Yo-Yo. Schmoozing with the crew and the squad. What do you think?
Oh yeah,
Sure.
especially
Why not?
lately.
Right, we're schmoozing together. We're all schmoozing.
This is some good schmooze. The
Yeah.
squad needs in on this. All the details. We need all the rapport as we go.
So we talked about it, guys, on Thursday. I said I had read through the new U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021 really quickly. I read through it in like an hour. I had more time to digest it over the weekend. A lot of it on my first read I got right, but I did leave out some things because I read it very fast. So I just want to go through it again. Now, I don't want to spend another 45, 50 minutes talking about it simply because whatever we're talking about now may or may not end up being the law. So as we learn more and things become more definitive, we'll definitely be saying this is going to be in the law, this is going to be out of the law. But right now, this is what is being presented to Congress by Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. They are Democratic president, Democratic vice president, to a Democratic Congress. All three parts of our government, the executive branch, the legislative branch of both Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives, all controlled by Democrats. So this is why people are very excited, because these immigration laws are always being discussed. But this is the first time in my history of being an attorney that the Democrats have controlled both houses of Congress and the executive branch, which is the presidency, which is why people are getting extra excited that maybe this will be the year that we finally get immigration reform. So let's go through it one more time. Again, if you want to know more and more about everything, go back and watch our show on Thursday, because we talked about it for about 45 minutes. But I do want to go through it quickly, Yo-Yo and Vanessa. And by the way, okay, Yo-Yo and Vanessa, if you or any of the squaddies have any questions as I'm going through it, now's the time to ask.
In the comments.
Okay, so if you have questions about what I'm talking about now, don't hold it for later. Ask now. Vanessa and Yo-Yo will be looking out for your questions, and by all means stop me and I'll be happy to explain, because I want to make sure everybody understands. So we're going to first start. I didn't really talk about it on Thursday, but in the new U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021, they're going to be increasing employment-based green cards. Right now, they give 140,000 green cards out a year to all employment-based cases, and that's the EB1, EB2, EB3, the EW category, the EB4, the EB5, and if you want to know what that is, EB1 is extraordinary ability and intra-company transferees, EB2 is advanced degree professionals, as well as people working in the national interest. EB3 are your skilled workers, EW are your unskilled workers, EB4 are your religious workers, and EB5 are your million-dollar investors. Now, out of that 140,000 green cards, it is not one green card per application or one green card per family. It is one green card per human being. So if you get sponsored in a job and you're bringing your spouse and 3 kids, now you're a family of 5. That's 5 people off the 140,000 for employment-based green cards. So that's why there is such a huge backlog on immigration cases. What they are doing now is it is one green card per family, one person off the list. So the accompanying family members are not going to be included in that 170,000 green cards instead of 140,000. So it's going to be a real 170,000 job sponsorships per year. Because right now it's probably 30 or 40,000 job sponsorships per year that get through on green cards simply because, you know, you're counting each accompanying family member. They are also going to be removing the per country limits. That affects the Philippines, that affects Mexico, that affects China, obviously affects India. There have been some people who hypothesize that some Indian IT professionals may be waiting 100 years for green cards because of the per country limits. That is all going to be removed. They are adding the 30,000 green cards, not across the board, but they are adding it to the EB3 category. They are adding 30,000 green cards to the EB3 category. They are increasing the EB3 category from 40,000 to 70,000. Those are your skilled workers, your bachelor degreed workers. They're also adding 30,000 green cards to the unskilled workers, raising the limit from 10,000 per year to 40,000 per year. Those are nannies, housekeepers, caregivers, people who work on in factories. Usually the job sponsorships from the factories are from the meat and dairy factories. Also, they're going to recapture lost green cards between 1992 and 2020. It's estimated that they're going to recapture 225,000 lost green cards that will be added to the quota. So now all of a sudden they have increased the quota. They have reduced the per country limits. They are not including children and spouses as part of the quota. They're adding 225,000 new green cards, as well as saying if you happen to be waiting more than 10 years for a green card through an employment-based case, you're going to get your green card right away. There's no more waiting. That is their increase in employment-based cases that will or should, in theory, eliminate the entire or most of the backlogs that people are facing right now on employment-based cases. They are also going to enshrine into law, it's right now an executive order, but they are going to enshrine it into law that people on H-4 visas, H-4 are spouses and children under 21 of H-1B workers, your professional specialized workers, they're going to enshrine it into law that the spouses can get work permission. If you remember, Donald Trump tried to eliminate that and tried to remove that executive order. He was sued. The case was in the courts. It became eventually moot now that Donald Trump is no longer president. It will now be enshrined into law. Also, H-4 children are no longer going to age out. Why is that important? So if you start a job sponsorship, you file a perm application, you file an I-140 visa petition, your child is 16, 17, 18 years old, and now all of a sudden you find yourself waiting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or longer for a green card through a job sponsorship. Well, you may be okay because maybe you can renew your H-1B or you're on some other visa status, but your kid turns 21, he's off the case. Now the kid's age gets frozen at the time you file your perm or your I-140, whichever comes in first. That way your children will never age out. As for students, this is a big deal for students. And it's a big deal for colleges and universities. Probably one of the most important things that they could actually do for students other than give somebody a green card is they're going to eliminate the dual intent required. They're going to eliminate the non-immigrant intent required to get a student visa. And now a student visa, you can have a dual intent. Why is that important? It starts with you going to apply for a visa at a U.S. embassy abroad. When you are a prospective student applying for a visa at a U.S. embassy abroad, you have to be able to prove that at the end of your studies, you're going to return back to your home country. Now, all of a sudden, that eliminates many, many prospective students who want to come and study in the United States of America from getting their student visa because they're not able to prove that when their studies are over, they're going to leave. Maybe it's because of their family situation. Maybe it's because of from the area that they come from or the demographic that they come from would indicate statistically, because the U.S. government works on statistics, that these are certain people who don't leave America. Well, now you won't need to do that anymore. Now to get a student visa, if this law passes and they eliminate that non-immigrant intent, for all intents and purposes, as long as you can show you're not a threat to commit crimes or terrorism or anything like that, and you can show that you can be able to pay your tuition without taking a job, you will get the student visa. You just need a good sponsor now. That's it. You don't have to show that dual intent. And then what also is that once you are here as a student, you can start looking, maybe you get sponsored in a job. You can get sponsored in a job and you can be at school at the same time. And you want to know what? Maybe you want to travel back to the United States and travel home and come back and you want to get married the following week. Now you don't got to wait those 90 days anymore. It is going to be a huge change for students not to be able to get out of that, non-immigrant intent issue and have student visas be dual intent. And that, by the way, is going to flood U.S. universities with foreign students. Now, also, what's going to happen is that if you are studying in science, technology, engineering, and math, you are no longer going to need to leave or be subject to number quotas on who can get sponsored in a job. If you are a science, technology, engineering, math degreed major, you would be eligible for a green card immediately, provided you have a job offer. Now, for those who are not science, technology, engineering, math, and have the OPT, they can do a job sponsorship directly for a green card and keep renewing their work permit year after year until they get their job sponsorship complete. So now if you get your OPT and you optional practical training at the end of your student visa, and it's good for 1 year, right now you have to get into the H-1B category. You have to find an employer willing to sponsor you for an H-1B, hopefully get into that quota on the H-1B, and if not, have to go home or re-enroll in school again. Now you can forget H-1Bs if you choose to and your employer chooses to. You can go straight for a job sponsorship, start a perm, start an I-140, and while that case is pending, be able to renew your work permit year after year until you get your green card. The same is going to be for L1 visas as well. They are going to be extending the number of people who get diversity visa lotteries from 55,000 to 80,000 visas. Now, we talked about on Thursday lawful prospective immigrant status. That is the status that people who would be eligible for the amnesty would be putting themselves in that status. Lawful prospective immigrant status will be given to people who are here in the United States undocumented as of January 1st, 2021. It will also give lawful prospective immigrant status to anybody who is a dreamer. A dreamer is somebody who entered the United States under the age of 18, no matter when they came, and it has a high school diploma or a GED, and is 2 years in college and 2 years in the military, or they even have a waiver if you can't do the 2 years in college or 2 years in the military or the GED, but you can prove you came here under the age of 18, and for compelling reasons, you can get a green card anyway. Maybe you have some sort of disability that you couldn't finish high school or college. Those people would be screwed. Not anymore, because you can file for a waiver of having to finish high school or college. And we talked about for the last couple weeks that in order to be part of the DREAM Act, you had to be here for 4 years and you had to be under 17. Well, that 4 years is not there. I read it 3 times. I never saw that you had to be here for 4 years. I just read had to be under 18. So if that sticks, and I'm reading it properly, I hope I am, then basically, as long as you are under 18 when you entered America, and this all happened before the law passed, and Biden signs it, and you can show that you are in the process of getting your high school diploma, your GED, 2 years in the military, you would get lawful prospective immigrant status, and then ultimately be able to adjust once you complete those requirements. Now, it would only for the dreamers, and as well as for the people who are just here out of status on January 1st, 2021, as well as we're going to talk about the TPS and the farm workers as well. For all 4 categories of amnesty applicants, you just need one applicant in the family to qualify, and everybody does. So if you're in a married situation, if one of the spouses qualifies for any one of these amnesties and the other spouse does not and the children do not, well, guess what? Now they do. So you only need one family member to qualify everybody. Now, for people who are in the DACA program and have been approved as DACA applicants, they're going to get streamlined adjustment. They will not have to go through the lawful prospective immigrant status and then adjust. They will just go straight for adjustment. Now, this lawful prospective immigrant status, it's good for 5 years. And then between year 5 and 6, you have a 12-month period to adjust your status. And then you fall back out of status undocumented. So you got to make sure if this law passes and this is the way it ends up, that you got to remember in 5 years you got to do something or forever hold your peace. For TPS members, you don't even have to be a member. You don't have to be in the TPS class to be able to adjust your status on a streamlined basis. You just have to be your last country of residence before you made it to America was a TPS country, a temporary protected status country. And you were here in the United States when the bill passes, you will be eligible for adjustment of status. So, Yo-Yo and Vanessa, many of Donald Trump's shithole countries will now get the last laugh if this, in fact, passes. You know, because awesome. All the TPS countries will be, all you have to do is basically it's going to be an amnesty for people from these particular countries. You had to be here when the bill passes, and you had to show physical residence on January 1st, 2017. Now, if you are in part of the TPS program, or you are from a TPS country, but you couldn't show you were here on January 1st, 2017, maybe you came here under the age of 18 and you're in high school and you can show you would be under the DREAM Act. Or maybe you were just here undocumented at that point on January 1st, 2021. So there's going to be multiple amnesty applications that you may be eligible to file for. So if you don't fall into one, you can fall into another. But we'll have to see how it all pans out. And then lastly, there's going to be the agricultural worker amnesty, and that is if you were here for 5 years and you worked on a farm for 400 days or 2,300 hours. Again, you would be eligible for streamlined adjustment of status. Now, we talked about it on Thursday also. 1 felony, 3 misdemeanors, you're out. But you're not necessarily out because you could always file a waiver based on family unity and humanitarian reasons. So even with multiple crimes, you may, depending on your situation, be able to show rehabilitation and be able to show that you would be eligible nevertheless. Now, for refugees and asylees, we were getting a lot of those questions. Will refugees and asylees be eligible for any of these amnesties? And the answer is yes, you will be. So if you are in asylee status or pending asylee status and you haven't gotten your green card yet, you will be eligible. If you are in removal or have been ordered removed, you can file these applications and have a stay of removal while it is pending. So even people who have been removed and have not physically left the United States will be eligible for this. There's going to be yes.
When you're done with this,
I'm on a roll. So just stop me when it's yeah.
Okay, I just have 2. Wet Sugar asks, are they going to be able to travel to their country? And I'm thinking
the answer is yes. When you have will asylees be eligible to travel? It depends on the situation because there is still fraud. You still have to show that you qualify for an adjustment of status, good moral character, not have committed fraud against the U.S. government. So how
about the banned countries?
The banned countries you will be able to go to for sure. Those countries are no longer a problem. Under the law as it's written right now, you will be able to get travel permission and work permission for up to 180 days to leave and come back, but you can't stay out for more than 180 days. I had one more note somewhere.
I have on YouTube. Yes. Mary taxing. He says nothing for overstayed people. So is there anything for anyone that's here overstayed?
Yes, the answer is yes. You would fall under the general amnesty, which is if you were here as an overstay on January 1st, 2021, you would be eligible for your lawful prospective immigrant status. So anybody who is here undocumented, out of status, overstay on January 1st, 2021 would be eligible. If not, you could always file for adjustment. They are going to be eliminating the 3 and 10 year bars. So you can do an adjustment. They are giving out job sponsorships. You can do a job sponsorship and the number of job sponsorships are going to be doubling and tripling. So presumably you would be able to do a job sponsorship, go home and come back without a problem.
Tori Davis asked, Brad, do you really think Biden will end the family ban before the 31st of March?
No. I think as of April 1st, and we've been speaking to U.S. embassies around the globe just for our current clients, and the general information we've been getting back is they'll be called sometime after April 1st, which is the day after. So even I believe the U.S. embassies don't believe anything is going to be revoked before then. But I would be very surprised, especially now that they're opening up here in New York City, for example, theaters, indoor dining. It seems that COVID is going down in the United States. I would be very surprised if Joe Biden, who seems to be a very pro-immigration president, would invoke the ban beyond March 31st.
And what about VAWA applicants?
VAWA applicants, there's no changes to VAWA applicants. VAWA applicants will still be able to adjust their status just like before. Now, one thing that's going to change, though, is the inclusion of permanent partners. Permanent partners are going to be put in the same position as a spouse. So a permanent partner is defined here in the law is a committed, lifelong, intimate relationship, and you have a financial relationship. So as a permanent partner who would be put in the same position as a spouse, not only for sponsoring for a green card, which you can right now in a same-sex marriage, but a lot of times you can't do a same-sex marriage in countries where maybe one or both partners live. Or perhaps you're a permanent partner and your other partner is coming on a work visa. Well, you can't come to the United States as an accompanying spouse because you're not qualified as a spouse. Now you will. And the other thing what they're doing is, which I thought was very interesting. I didn't see this the first time. I read it the second time. I had to actually read it twice. Is they're now basing parentage based on not only having a genetic parent biological relationship, but now also they're basing parentage on, I just found this really interesting, on having a relationship with a child in their first year of birth. So what would that mean? In other words, for example, I thought of two ways that this would be relevant to people. One is people who do IVF, and maybe perhaps they're not using their own genetic material. They wouldn't be considered they wouldn't be considered biological parent. They couldn't sponsor a child. Or somebody, especially in same-sex relationships, where one is a biological parent and the other one isn't, because it's impossible to have and now the non-biological parent's the American. How do you get that child into America if the child's born in another country? Or I've had situations in my which were very, very sad in my practice where families took a child literally from a hospital because either the mother passed, unfortunately, or the mother abandoned it. Literally, I've seen situations where mothers walked out of a hospital and left babies behind. And then there's, I had a client like several years ago, and she was a nurse, and she just like took this baby and raised this baby since the baby was born, but never adopted the baby. And then as the baby grew and grew, it wasn't their child. It was an adult already. We couldn't do anything, even though this baby was with this mother since birth. So, I mean, I could think of a lot of ways where that would come into play. The diversity visa lottery, I think we talked about it on Thursday, 55 to 80,000. We talked a lot about the V visas on Thursday. We're not going to talk about that again. You can go back and watch our show from Thursday. We talked about stepchildren are now going to be under 21. We talked about that. So I don't want to keep repeating myself. But I will say this. For naturalization, there's two things that they're doing for naturalization now to make it easy to become U.S. citizens once you have a green card. One is if you're over 65 and you've had a green card for more than 5 years, you don't have to take the written test of English. So over 65, green card for 5 years, you can speak any language you want. Also, if you graduated high school here in the United States, you would not be required to take the naturalization exam, period. Also, they're going to roll back the 5-year wait for citizenship if you can prove that 3 years before you obtained your green card, you were lawfully employed in the United States. Meaning, then it would be a 3-year wait after you got your green card, not 5. So, for example, there's situations where people have H's, L's, E visas. They've been working here for years and years and years, finally got their green card, and then have to wait another 5 years. Well, as long as they were able to show they were employed for 3 years before they got their green card, their wait would only be 3 years for citizenship, not 5. Or the other thought I had was people sometimes adjustment applications are pending for years and years and years, and they keep renewing their work permit year after year after year. Well, now that time period would be counted towards citizenship, and you'd be able to do it for 3 years instead of 5 years. And they're also going to enshrine into law that people who filed for asylum must get their work permits within 180 days of filing. And finally, if you're filing for asylum, you do not have a 1-year bar to apply. You can apply whenever you want, whenever you realize that you have a fear of returning to your home country. Now, I summarized a lot more. There's a lot more I talked about Thursday. I don't want to be repetitive, though. What do we see in the comments, guys?
We have one saying, Nikisha Bailey saying, what about people that have entered illegally? Will they qualify to adjust their status through family sponsorship?
No, they will not. They would still have to go home, but you wouldn't have a 3 and 10 year bar. If you came illegally before January 1st, 2021, and you're going to be physically here on January 1st, 2021, well, it's very possible that you would be eligible for lawful prospective immigrant status. Maybe you say, you know what, I'm scared to go home. I don't want to go home and get my green card and come back. You can do the amnesty. Perhaps you entered without inspection through and your last residence was a TPS country. You can apply directly for your adjustment. So there's going to be a lot of different. Most people who come in, I wouldn't be surprised if have multiple options on what to do.
I have I have one on YouTube quick. I have Kiki asking for the DREAM Act. If the DREAM Act is passed, would those kids get immediate green cards?
If the DREAM Act is passed, the people in DACA would get immediate green cards. People who are not in DACA, if you were under 18 when you came to the United States, you graduated high school or GED and do 2 years of college or 2 years in the military, you would be eligible for adjustment of status. But the DACA recipients would be immediately eligible, which is a different category.
Cynthia Francis asked, what if you come on a B1, B2 visa and didn't go home? Are those people included?
Yes. Those are visa overstays, undocumented visa overstays. Right.
And last one I have from Elizabeth Francis. What about if you have a son who's over 21 and you're a green card holder? How long will it take, or will there be a new law to get them here faster?
Yes, there will be a new law. We talked about it Thursday. That was the V visa. I just brushed on it. I said about one sentence about it today.
Awesome.
There's going to be a V visa that for anybody who has an approved I-130 visa petition for their children, whether married, single, whether you're a resident, whether you're a citizen, they would be eligible for V visas to come to the United States, to reside in the United States with you. They would get work permission in order while they are waiting for their green card. So they would be able to wait in America with you instead of waiting in another country once the I-130 visa petition is approved. The other thing is the F2A category. We talked about that on Thursday as well. Is going to be immediate relatives. You know, I didn't talk about everything in the law because we talked about a lot about it on Thursday, so I don't want to be repetitive. But
right.
The F2A category, those are spouses of permanent residents. Those are children under the age of 21 of permanent residents. Those are going to be considered immediate relatives. Immediate relatives means there's no quota. You can get your green card right away.
Awesome. That's it.
All right. So let's talk a little bit more immigration news, and then we're going to see what else is happening in the world. On Friday night, the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia issued an emergency injunction extending the validity of most diversity visa lottery winners for the 2020 diversity visa lottery. So for all intents and purposes, there was a case, Gomez versus Trump. Well, the pumpkin lost. Gomez and the class of DV lottery applicants win. And for all intents and purposes, if you are a winner of the DV lottery, you will be able to process through for 2020 for the year 2020. So, you know, and the reason why was because Trump made that proclamation barring people from getting green cards. But for diversity visa lottery applicants, you had to complete your case in 2020, which was impossible because Trump basically blocked you from coming. So the judge overturned this. So people who won their diversity visa lottery last year in 2020 will be able to complete their cases. The other thing is, as of March 1st, Joe Biden and the Biden administration, they rolled back the controversial naturalization civics test made by Donald Trump. It was a much harder test to try to trick people or get them to fail. They wanted more people to fail their citizenship test. They made it harder. Well, Biden has rolled it back. You're going to get, if you get your citizenship interview between now and February 28th, you're going to get the Trump citizenship test, unfortunately. But after March 1st, you're going to get the Biden citizenship test, which is the old one. The good news is if you fail, they always give you a second chance to come back. So even if you fail the Trump one, you'll be able to go back and take the Biden one down the line. And finally, although Joe Biden has not rolled back the additional poverty guideline requirements that Trump put in, the Form 944 still has to be filed with your immigration paperwork. Although, interestingly enough, it's still not on the USCIS website that says you have to do it, but the law is you have to do it right now. The Supreme Court is taking that case up. Biden has not rolled that one back. All he did so far on that is put together a blue ribbon panel to see about the poverty guidelines. But this case is going up to the Supreme Court. It'd be interesting to see how Biden defends it. Merrick Garland, he was the Supreme Court judge nominee that was blocked from, that Obama had wanted to install on the Supreme Court. He was blocked by the Republicans right before the presidential election in 2016 that Trump won. And then, if you remember, the Supreme Court was only 8 judges for about a year until Brett Kavanaugh was sworn in as the 9th judge. It really should have been Merrick Garland, should have been the judge. Well, now he's back before Congress, not to go for hearings to be a Supreme Court justice, but as the Attorney General nominee. He said that his first priority, if confirmed as the Attorney General of the United States, would center on the investigation of the January 6 riots in the U.S. Capitol. And you check out Ted Cruz's political blunder, guys. He decides to take a trip to sunny Cancun while everybody else in Texas was freezing.
Oh, I did see that. Yes, I did see that.
And maybe if he wasn't a senator and he could afford to go to Cancun, it's probably a smart thing to do while there's no electricity in Texas. Probably a good reason to go. But not when you're the leader and the senator. Yeah. All right. That's like the captain of the Titanic saying, "Get out of my way! I'm getting on the lifeboat." No, the captain of the Titanic doesn't get on the lifeboat. The captain of the Titanic stays. He's the leader. Right. What kind of leader is that?
You have to sail the ship.
Yeah. It reminds me of a Seinfeld episode. I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld. I don't know. You guys don't watch Seinfeld, or you do maybe?
I didn't really watch.
Yeah. But there's a Seinfeld episode with George. You know, he was like the loser of the group. He's like at a kid's birthday party. This is what it totally reminds me of. He's at a kid's birthday party, and then somebody like, you know, the fire alarm goes off by mistake, but that was like when they were bringing the cake out and he smelled smoke. So he thought there was a real fire. So he starts yelling, "Fire, fire." And you know, all the teachers are trying to get the kids out and like being, do the right thing. And George, runs over all the kids, throws them aside, and it's like the first one out of the building. And everyone's like, "What are you doing, man?" But that's exactly what Ted Cruz did. He's like running out of the building. He left all the kids behind.
Trifling.
Yeah.
Trifling. How they got that picture. I wonder who took that picture.
Right. And then stupidly he comes back. When he comes back, he comes back wearing the mask with the Texas flag on it. This guy's like the worst. And and he blamed it on his kids. He said, I was just trying to be a good dad to my kids. They wanted to go to Cancun. I was accompanying my children there, and I was returning.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Right.
A guy.
Meanwhile,
I mean, see, unfortunately, that's the the sacrifices that you have to take. So I do understand with him saying I was doing it for his kids, because I mean, he's still a parent at the end of the day, but that's the unfortunate thing. It's just like with public figures. If you take on that role, you know that you're going to have to sacrifice some things. It's like you have all your people there literally dying, their houses are trashed, and you take a vacation to Cancun. It's like, at this point, you're going to have to tell your kids, sorry, daddy has to do work. We're going to do it maybe next month. But like, you can't do that.
And I find it very hard to believe that the senator from Texas wouldn't be able to find a warm place to stay. It's not like they were living out in their car freezing to death, okay?
Right.
So, and the trip was for him and his wife, and that's just B with a capital B, with a capital Bradshaw Live BS.
Right.
Meanwhile, New York Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, she was in Texas, and she's not even from Texas. Why? Because she's a leader. And she went to Texas and raised $3.2 million for relief efforts on Friday night. AOC said during a press conference outside a food bank, I think this shows that New York stands with you, but the whole country stands with you.
This is why I love her. She does no wrong in my eyes.
Now, about a third of Texans are still having issues with their water supply as the state reels from last week's winter storms. President Biden approved major disaster declaration of Texas. If you watch Fox News, they're blaming wind turbines and green energy, which is the problem, which is the biggest lie in the world. It's not green energy. It was that the natural gas pipes that were pumped from the ground froze, and the electric grid was from the year of God knows what, that wasn't able to handle all the additional usage by people who were turning up their heat. So it's an electric grid problem and a frozen natural gas pipelines that caused this.
Yeah, and they just weren't prepared for this.
And they were not prepared for it. And the reason they were not prepared for it is because they opted out of federal regulations, because Texas has their own electric system. Like, for example, here in New York, for example, we actually share the grid with parts of Canada and perhaps even, I think, other states as well, but I know for sure Canada. So as soon as you're sharing your electricity between states and another country, it becomes under the purview of the U.S. government and U.S. government regulations. Texas is its own little country. They don't share it with Mexico or New Mexico or Oklahoma. They don't share their electricity with nobody. So they had an opportunity to opt into federal regulations. They opted out. As a matter of fact, Ted Cruz was tweeting back during the California fires, this is what happens when you have Democrats. And remember, they had rolling blackouts in California during the California fires. And he's like, this is what happens when you have overregulation by Democrats. And now look, Ted Cruz is on vacation in Cancun. And Texas, this is what happens when you have no regulation. So
there you go.
There's got to be a happy medium between the two, I would think.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said about overregulation, but there's also something to be said about underregulation. No regulation at all. All right. Coronavirus statistics. We are now at 500,000 people dead. Experts say the number of deaths is likely to exceed the highest estimates for the Civil War. The Civil War, by the way, is the deadliest military conflict in the United States history. So COVID is now going to beat out, in terms of number of deaths in the United States of America, more than any war the U.S. has ever been in. Today, Today, cases and hospitalization rates are thankfully dropping, and the Biden administration says 2 more million vaccine doses have been delivered. Still, the next few months are going to bring tens of thousands of more deaths, Dr. Fauci thinks. And he says we're going to be probably wearing masks into 2022. So if you believe Dr. Fauci, this ain't happening, this ain't ending anytime soon. But there is a epidemiologist or a public health official from the Johns Hopkins University who says that this could be over by May or June. So, I mean, who knows what to believe? I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't. Because you got one guy saying May or June, you know, and Dr. Fauci saying next year. And whatever anybody's told us so far has been...
That's exactly what I was talking about. The frustration. You literally have people telling you 10 different things. You don't know what to believe. You know? Yeah. It's very frustrating, nerve-wracking.
Right. And Mayor de Blasio, I don't get him sometimes. He closed, I understand, he closed the ice skating rinks in Central Park because it's run by Trump. He doesn't want to pay Trump any more money. But Trump's contract is over in 90 days. And all of a sudden he decided to close the rinks early. People have nowhere to go. All right. People are like, at least you could go skating. People were up in arms over that. Come on, de Blasio. But he changed his mind after the fact. Who cares if Trump earns a couple dollars? Let people go out and enjoy themselves somewhere.
Right.
You know? Meanwhile, movie theaters in New York City are going to be open for the first time March 5th. Would you go see the movie now?
I love going to the movies. But I don't know. I've been watching it. I got a big old 80-inch screen. I got some new surround sound. I'm a little afraid of that.
I don't think movie theaters are going to come back. What do you think?
Really?
That's quick. No.
At all?
No. I think people got used to staying at home.
At all?
Maybe a few, but not like it was where you could like, oh, you know what? Black Panther's playing here, and they're playing there, and they're playing here, and we can pick all our different times to decide when we're going to see Black Panther. Now it's going to be like, you know, now it's going to be like, there's like 3 movie theaters in your whole town, and you know what? Black Panther's only playing at 1, and if you don't show up at 7 o'clock, you're not watching it. That's what I think.
No, I think theaters are gonna open back up. Like, I'm lucky enough to have like the Fire Stick where I can watch any movie, but everybody else doesn't have that, you know. So a lot of people need an establishment, a theater, in order to see these new movies. Some people haven't seen a new movie in over a year since the theaters closed. Like I said, I was lucky enough to see them because I get sent, you know, a lot of the movies where I have to do, you know, different videos and stuff from them, but not everybody gets that. So I think that, you know, we still have a big population that are going to need these theaters to open up. It's just going to be in different regulations. I think it's, you know, they probably won't have it like till 70, 60% full, you know, some stuff like that. But I think they'll open back up.
All right, we got to get to some fuzzy news and get to our immigration. We're running way behind. Let's get a little fuzzy, guys. So, this is an odd story, but I guess a good story. A little fish was stuck swimming upside down due to a case of swim bladder, which is a disorder that affects fish's buoyancy, according to the Daily Mail. Unfortunately, the goldfish owners were told that this case of swim bladder was untreatable, and they were very sad about their goldfish that wasn't able to swim and thought the goldfish would not make it much longer. So, saddened by the idea of their goldfish swimming upside down at the bottom of the tank for the rest of his life, pet owners sought out alternative treatments. Their quest to get the fish righted led them to the Garden Sanctuary, an animal shelter in Wolverhampton, England, and its founder, Stacey O'Shea. Taking pity on the upside-down fish, O'Shea used her animal expertise to craft a little life jacket for the swimmer. O'Shea used tiny plastic tubing, filters, and polystyrene to create a goldfish life jacket, which is weighed just enough to keep the fish righted without dragging it to the bottom of the tank. To ensure the goldfish got the most out of life, O'Shea made the weight of the life jacket adjustable so the fish can swim to every part of its tank.
Oh, I just hope
That's nice, except what about all the poor fish these fishermen catch that we eat every day? Now I feel bad for all the fish that we're eating.
Listen, privilege.
That's a privilege. That is a privileged fish, right?
Sounds like a real life Finding Nemo story, like the fish with a bad fin.
Like when you see like some really wealthy kid who's like just a big fool, but just dad's a rich kid and rich guy, and like, oh, Lucky Sperm Club. That fish is Lucky Sperm Club, right?
That's
right?
absolutely. Like, look at that. You have your own life vest, fish.
A fish. Meanwhile, residents in Texas have been rescuing cold, stunned sea turtles and taking them to a convention center in South Texas resort town. Ed Calm, executive director of the South Padre Island Convention and Visitors Bureau, told the Associated Press every 15 minutes or less there's another truck or SUV that pulls up. He said sometimes people bring 1 or 2 sea turtles, sometimes more. The trailers have 80, 100, 50. This is all because of the cold, because all of these sea turtles would have froze to death. He said the convention center itself didn't have power or water till Wednesday. He said they've collected more than 3,500 sea turtles so far. He said that with another cold front approaching, they don't know when they'll be able to return the sea turtles to the water. He said the power returned. They've been able to bring the convention center's temperature to 60 degrees. We're doing the best we can to preserve the sea turtles. That's really nice.
Oh.
That's very, very
That's a
nice.
lot of sea turtles.
That is.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. I mean, you ever go to the beach and see sea turtles?
No.
Yeah, because they wash up on the beach and then they do their thing and then they go back in the water.
I've never.
They're cute and they just sit there.
Yeah, I'm not.
Cute.
I think
What beach have you gone to where you saw them?
What?
What beach did you go to where you saw sea turtles?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
But I was told there are a lot of different places.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I saw them in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
Yes,
see
I went scuba diving in Puerto Rico, and they were swimming with me, and then they came up on the beach. I'm into turtles. I like them, so I like that story. What?
Remember? We went to the same beach in Puerto Rico.
Yes, it's the best beach in the world.
Flamenco Beach.
Yes.
You're the one who told me the private.
Right? Isn't that the best beach in the world?
It's awesome.
All right. I mean, I'm sure people will argue with me that wherever they are has the best beach. But I'm telling you, Culebra Island, right off the coast of Puerto Rico, I told Yo-Yo to go. One of the best beaches I've ever been to in my life.
I had a blast
there. It's beautiful there, I'm told. That's beautiful there.
It's beautiful there, yeah. And finally, a pet cat has gone viral in China after appearing to cry into a security camera while being left at home during the holidays. The 2-year-old British short-hair Fufu supposedly was crying while hearing his owner calling his name through the home monitor. The pet owner, Mrs. Meng, said she was checking on the feline via a surveillance app on her phone when she saw the heartbreaking scene. Security footage shows Fufu staring into the camera with tears in his eyes at home in China. Do we have a video or just pictures?
Oh, look at the tail.
Is there a video or we don't have a video? Just a picture. That. Yeah, I guess we just. We don't have the video, but we have the pictures. Now, the clip was filmed on the night of February 8th in eastern China, Zhuzhou, China's Zhaozhou, excuse me, after Meng had gone to her parents' home in a nearby town. The video has received more than 8 million likes and it propelled Fufu into social media stardom.
Wow.
Vanessa, all we have to do is cry into a closed circuit security camera and get 8 million likes.
Well, you also have to be a cat.
You also have, that's the problem. We're not cats.
Yeah, we're not cute.
Because I was going to say, why don't we just all cry into the camera, right? Nope, you got to be a cat too.
It's not going to be the same.
I don't have everyone turn on their notification bell.
Meng could be heard saying in the clip, "Do you miss me? And I'll come home in a few days." As Meng's voice plays, Fufu turns around to look at the door behind, turning back to touch the camera with the paw. Meng said she felt heartbroken when I saw this. She said that she eventually cut her trip short to return home to Fufu, explaining, "I had planned to stay at my parents' home for a week, but I returned early. I couldn't handle it anymore."
Wow. Just take Fufu with you.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Cat, you can take a cat wherever. They hide under the couch anyway. You don't even know they're there.
Exactly.
Poor Fufu. But what makes the story great is what makes the story great is the cat's name is Fufu. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
you would think that Fufu would be crying, right?
Right.
That's a loyal companion name.
Yes. All right. So that is our schmooze of the day. Let's get into our. But before we get into our meat and potatoes, in today's Spar Education, I answer the question: what is a provisional waiver? A provisional waiver is a waiver to waive the 10-year bar if you leave the United States to obtain an immigrant visa in another country. In 1996, Congress changed the law that said that if you are applying for a green card in another country and you lived in the United States illegally for more than 1 year, you have a 10-year bar to re-entering. It prevented most people who overstayed on their visas, who were entered without inspection, from returning home to pick up their green cards because nobody wanted to stay home for 10 years before they were able to come back with their green card. The provisional waiver gives a waiver to that law prior to you leaving the United States. So as long as you get that provisional waiver, you can go back to your home country and if otherwise eligible, obtain your green card and then return to the United States within a matter of weeks. By the way, Yo-Yo and Vanessa, I don't like to, I travel a lot, but Wa Mahat says, Brad, you need to travel more for the best beaches. Maldives and Bora Bora wins hands down. I've been to Maldives and Bora Bora. I'm telling you, Culebra wins hands down. In terms of just my opinion.
No
I've
ifs,
been there.
ands, or buts.
No, I've been there. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Bora Bora. I've been to, and I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, I've been there. I've done it. Culebra in my book. All right, let's go to Debbie in Pensacola, Florida. But you know what? Good, honest men and women could differ, all right? So don't, let's not sweat it. All right, let's go. Oh, before I go to Debbie, I'm supposed to say, you got an immigration question, I got an answer in. Getting questions here, getting answers to your immigration questions. All right, let's go to Debbie in Pensacola, Florida. Debbie.
Hi, Brad.
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing fine. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
My pleasure.
So I had a few questions I wanted to ask.
Yes.
My husband and I, we went on an interview. It's almost been 18 months now, but we've had some issues over the course of the time, and we're now separated. And I wanted to file a VAWA case.
Okay.
I was wondering if I file a VAWA case, would my current EAD card expire, would I still be able to renew that under the C9 category, or how would I go about doing that?
All right, so as long as your adjustment hasn't been denied yet, you can file a VAWA and you can renew your work permit under the C9 category. When you file your VAWA, when you get your receipt notice on the VAWA, what you should do is send the receipt notice, because the VAWA may be in a different office than your pending adjustment. And, with immigration, the left don't know the right and vice versa, even though it's the same agency. So what you would do is, after you get your receipt notice on the VAWA, renew your work permit no matter what, whether you have the receipt notice or not. Just renew it, because you have a pending adjustment. You're entitled to renew it. End of story. When you get the VAWA receipt notice back that they've received your VAWA, make a photocopy of it and make a photocopy of your receipt notice for your I-485 and send a letter to whatever office the I-485 is at now and say, I'm paraphrasing. By the way, you're not going to say it this way, but basically you can say, by the way, I'm converting my case from a bona fide marriage case to a VAWA case. I'm an abused spouse. Please, correct your records or whatever you want to say. And then that would automatically convert your pending adjustment based on a bona fide marriage to a VAWA. They'll keep the whole case open, waiting on the final VAWA case.
Okay. Also, another question: do I need to get affidavits from friends and families about my relationship with him?
Every case is different. It depends on how you're going to prove the abuse. So, for example, if your husband's arrested for domestic violence, that proves it. Okay. If you're, hospitalized because of domestic violence, that proves it. You don't need any affidavit from anybody. If you have a very strong, credible story about what happened, maybe you need an affidavit, maybe you don't. If you're doing it all based on extreme emotional abuse, you may not need something from somebody else. It depends on how strong your story is and how believable your story is and how detailed your story is. Sometimes on emotional abuse cases, when you don't have that specific, documentary evidence, here's the arrest of my husband or my spouse, here's my hospital record or my medical record, or here is my 2 years of therapy getting over his emotional abuse. Here's all the records. Right. If you don't have any of that, sometimes an affidavit corroborating what you're saying is helpful.
Okay, so in my case now, I'm currently going to counseling. So would that be a source where I wouldn't have to provide affidavit?
Well, a counselor's going to, write a report. It depends on again, every case is so specific. So for me to say you need it, you don't, unless I actually read what's going on and know what's going on, I couldn't tell you. It's like going to a trial attorney and saying, I got into a car accident and the police didn't come. I'm going to testify about the car accident. Do I need other people to testify? I don't know what you're going to testify about yet. So maybe yes, maybe no, So it depends.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brad.
All right. But if you want, I can review everything and let you know. But outside that, I couldn't tell you, 100% yes, you need this or no, you don't need that. Because every case is so specific to that person.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Sammy in Baltimore. Sammy.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I have 3 questions, please. I have a pending VAWA, so it's taking a long time, and they are requesting a lot from me. So my wife wants me to withdraw it so that she can file for me. So I'm just wondering if it's gonna be any problem.
Let me ask you a question. You said your wife?
I mean, we're about to get married.
Okay, fine. Because once you get married, that ends your VAWA case.
Yeah.
So in other words, you get married, you have a pending adjustment through this VAWA, or it's just a VAWA?
Yeah, I have a pending, I just have a VAWA.
Okay.
I filed
all right. So you wouldn't. All right. So what you didn't file an I-485. So then you did or did not?
I filed I-485.
You did. Okay. So first of all, once you get married, that ends your VAWA case unless the I-360 is approved, and it doesn't seem like it is. So
I don't need to send them a letter.
You need to send them a letter that you've gotten married and you want to withdraw your adjustment and file a new one. You would need to do that. Okay, but had you not filed an adjustment, it would just be denied by operation of law.
Okay, so my second question is this. So, my wife did not earn, she earned only $18,000 from her tax 2020. So now my roommate want to sponsor us, but the tax he had this year is only like 25,000, like 30,000, but
it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough. You're going to need somebody else.
Oh.
All right.
So
look for somebody who earns more money. It depends on how many people there. Yeah, that's going to sounds like better to me.
Yeah, it's like 3 of us right now.
I mean, 30,000 may be enough if it's just you, your roommate, and your spouse. That's going to be enough.
Yes.
It's more than 125% above the poverty level, but you're just like right there. I'd like you to be a little higher if possible.
Okay. So, sorry for the last question. So, if we file right now, how long do you think I'll be able to get a work permit and green card?
Well, your work permit will be 5-6 months, and your green card will be a little over a year.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Brett.
Bassett in Lovington, New Mexico. Bassett.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Mr. Brett? Yes, sir. I'm good. I just need a little help about my situation right now. I've been married to my wife for like 4 years now. We lived in Ghana for like 2 years, and we came to America with my 2 kids. And we had 2-year green cards, and it's about to expire. So we filed in a petition December, and they've given us receipts and even sent us a letter saying our fingerprints and photographs are clear. They will use that. But my wife has started being lazy about a year now. She don't want to work. She only works like 3 hours a day. And if I want to complain, it turns to a problem. She's been fighting me over that, leave all bills on me. And I want to complain and say, oh, we should share the bills. And she went and brought the divorce papers to me today that I should sign. She's leaving me.
Fine. And you should say, thank you very much. It's one less person I have to support now if you're leaving me. And what you'll do is sign the divorce papers if that's what you choose to do. It sounds like you're in an unhappy marriage. Nobody says you have to stay in an unhappy marriage to keep your green card for you and your children. And you do a divorce, and you submit to immigration a letter with a copy of your divorce saying, I'm converting my case from a joint application of the I-751 to a waiver of the joint application of the I-751 based on a bona fide marriage that terminated in divorce. And then you go on the interview alone, and you show up with your divorce, and you prove it was a real marriage from the time you entered America to the time your wife handed you the divorce decree, and you're still entitled to a green card. Nobody says you have to stay in an unhappy marriage. They just want to make sure it was real.
Okay, I already submitted all documents and receipts and all the bills you've been paying.
Right, but you would still need to convert it once the divorce happens, so there's no misrepresentation issue.
Okay, so can your office do that for me? Or
yes, I can do that for you. Hold on one second. I can do that. Hold on. Let's go to Mala in Brooklyn. Mala.
It's Rhonda.
Oh, Rhonda.
Hi, good evening.
Where do we get Mala from?
I don't know.
All right, Rhonda, how are you? That sounds like a much better name than Mala. I'm like, who's Mala?
I am well. I hope everybody is well.
Good,
Thank
good.
you
What's
so
going
much
on?
for the wonderful work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I have a question for my friend.
Yes.
My friend is single, 30, arrived in the U.S. on a visitor's visa, let's say in November 2020. So she's not like overstayed yet. That will be effective May 2021. So with this new Citizen Act of 2021, she's, wondering
still in
if
legal
she
status. Right.
Sorry?
That's a very good question. Okay, because we don't know what the ultimate rule is going to be. The way it's read right now is if you were just here, you would get it no matter what. How it ultimately changes, we don't know. You could conceivably stay in legal status, and it's hard to say how it's going to go. So for me, to tell her to do this or that. When is her visa up? When's her I-94 up?
May. It's like towards the end of May 2021.
What I told somebody else in a similar situation is this bill just got introduced on Thursday. We're not even 4 days into this, okay? And there was a weekend. So we now have March, April. So we have another 75, 80 days to figure out what to do. So tell your friends, watch the show, call us back the end of April, early May, and we'll see where we're at with the law, and then you can start making decisions. But it's going to be a last second.
Okay.
It's going to be a last second decision. I don't know the answer right now what to tell you.
Okay, so call back April, May, so we'll know.
I don't know if I will know, but I hope I will. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see where the law is.
Yeah, she's concerned whether she should leave and come back.
The answer is we don't.
Stay.
I don't have the answer yet. I don't have the answer yet. Too early.
Okay, great. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Timoleon in the Bronx.
Oh, Timoleon. Oh, brother.
How are you?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm doing great.
What's going
on? Good, great. Thanks for the good work you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I have a question. I have my I-130, approved. And my wife, she did the filing, everything. And the USCIS requested for the affidavit of support. She has submitted all that we did. We did joint tax, everything. She filed everything. But right now they moved the case to NVC. That probably, I don't know why they moved it to NVC.
Did you file an
Maybe
adjustment
because-
application?
Yeah.
So if it's moved to the NVC and you filed an adjustment application, either you did the adjustment application improperly and it was rejected and returned, or they denied your adjustment and just approved the I-130 and sent it off to the NVC. I'm not sure.
They approved the I-130.
Right, but then it seems like they probably denied the adjustment.
Oh.
So I don't know why they did that, but it sounds like you screwed up somewhere. Hold on and we'll figure it out, but I don't know why, but that's what would happen. So in other words, if you file an adjustment and all of a sudden one day you wake up and your I-130 is at the NVC, it's because the adjustment was denied and they approved the I-130 and moved it to the NVC. So we got to figure out why the adjustment was denied. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, even I'm surprised.
Anita in the Bronx.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Anita in the Bronx. How
Anita
are
in the
you?
Bronx. It's Brad in Manhattan.
Yes.
How are you?
I am good. You did my case some years ago
Oh,
when
yeah?
Monica and Robert were there. That's them.
Monica. Oh, I was just talking about Monica the other day. I always loved Monica.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my
That's
favorites of all
awesome.
time. Yeah. So you were up in the Bronx office when we had a Bronx office.
Okay, yes,
Right.
when you were at 222nd.
Yep.
Right,
Okay.
and then when you moved on to Allerton.
Yep.
And then I got my
That
green
was-
card when you moved to Manhattan.
That's when I didn't have any gray on my face. That
Oh
was
my
like
God.
20. You're going back 20 plus years ago. All right.
Yes.
What's going on now? What
Anyway,
can I do to help you?
I filed my citizenship. I got through. I filed for my son. He's
Right.
in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
And in March, I got the approval notice. The case went to, I guess it went to NVC, but
Right.
with the whatever happened down in Jamaica, that those cases are put on hold.
They're all on
and,
hold.
Yes, and next month is gonna be 1 year. So I was just calling to find out if we should just hold on, wait, or whatever.
Hold on and wait. Hold on and wait.
Uh-huh.
We believe that this hold is from a proclamation from Donald Trump. It's the visa ban. That it's set to expire March 31st of this year.
Right, yes.
I don't believe, most people don't believe that Biden is going to extend it. I can't tell you for a fact.
Yeah,
I haven't-
yeah, we
right,
know that,
right.
yeah.
But we're going to assume that it won't be extended, and then the embassy will start processing cases in April. Unfortunately, they have going to be a year backlog, so who knows when your son will get through, but eventually he'll get through.
Okay, I just wanted
Yep.
to know, if I should just keep waiting.
Keep waiting.
You know?
Keep wait. At this point,
Yeah.
keep waiting. It's
Okay.
also possible that this, amnesty bill passes with the V visa. I don't know if you were watching in the beginning of the show. And the V
No.
visa, okay, so we were talking about a V visa. It may pass. It may become law. Who knows? If it does, people like your son who have been waiting for their green cards, who are the unmarried or married children of citizens or residents, you're a citizen, they would be
Yeah.
eligible to get a visa to come to America and wait for their green cards here. So that's possible
Okay.
too. We don't know. So
Okay, yeah.
let's see what happens. Okay?
Okay,
All right,
yes, thank you
you.
so much for that
All right.
information and continue the good work. I keep telling people, go to Brad.
Right.
When he say yes, it is yes.
Thank you. And now you know me for 20 years and you're still saying
Yes,
it, right?
I tell them,
Right.
I say if Brad said no, is a no.
All right,
If he
thank
say yes, it's yes.
Thank you very much.
All right, take
All
care.
right, thank you, Anita.
Good.
Be well.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Let's go to Kim in Pompano, Florida. Kim. Kim.
Yes.
Hi, Kim.
Brad.
How you doing?
All right. Okay, so I just have a question. The I-360 and the I-485. I wanted to know, do I also have to do a I-601?
Only if you're inadmissible to the United States.
Because I came without, I came when I was small.
Okay, no, the answer is no, because you're probably asking me, you don't have
For-
an, you don't
VAWA.
right, you don't have, I know it's a VAWA, you don't
Yeah.
have an entry document, and because you don't have an entry document, and who knows how you came here, maybe even with a fraudulent document, do you need a 601 waiver, which would be for inadmissibility? And the answer in your particular case is no, you don't need it for two reasons. One, when you file a VAWA, even if you're entered without inspection, you're eligible to adjust your status. And number two, if you came here as an adult with a fake document, then yes, you would have needed a waiver based on hardship to yourself. But because your entry came as a minor, you can't be held responsible about how you came to the United States. So even no matter what document was shown, it's not your responsibility. You were a baby or 5 years old or 7 years old or whatever it is. So how could you be held responsible for what was said on your behalf? You can't be held responsible. So therefore, there's no misrepresentation on your part. You can adjust as an iwi, so you do not need a 601 waiver.
Okay. And also, if I had 2 arrests.
That's a different story. What were your arrests for?
Marijuana.
What happened with the cases?
It was adjudicated, withheld without adjudicated. Marijuana and use of an ID.
I would need to see the disposition to see what it actually says. So without seeing a disposition, I couldn't tell you 100%.
Okay.
All right. So if you want, you can have a consultation with me, but I would need to see the disposition on this. Hold on.
Okay.
Malia in Las Vegas, Nevada. Malia. Also,
Hello.
by the way,
Hi,
pretty name, Malia. I just want to say that.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I'm Maria Elaine.
You're Maria.
from Las Vegas.
Why is everybody being Malia? I don't want. I'm thinking now I insulted Amalia somewhere, and I'm sorry. So I'm like, all right, it's a pretty name.
it's
Maria. I like
Elaine.
Maria too. Why do I keep
thank
getting
you,
Malia?
Brad. I really admire you.
All right.
Yeah, this is my question.
Go ahead.
I had an approval of my I-130 petition last January 31st. But then on January 30, I received a request for evidence regarding the application of permanent residence or adjustment of status. Okay? But actually, they needed I-864 regarding the affidavit of support of my husband.
Right.
My husband is receiving SS, which is only $12,000, and he is receiving 100% disability benefits for at least $42,000 a year.
Okay.
So is the VA veterans benefits and income to be included?
Yes.
In his income?
Yes.
Oh.
So he make
he is not
his income. His
taxable.
income is about. Doesn't matter if it's taxable or not. It's still income. So his income is over $50,000.
Yeah, the lawyer that applied my visa last October 7th, he did not include.
Well, the lawyer's
the
wrong.
VA,
Your lawyer's
the
your
VA
lawyer
benefits.
your lawyer is wrong. All right, because the
Yeah.
I-864 doesn't say tell us what your taxable income is. It says what is
Yeah.
your income. There's some income that's not
Now, they're
taxable, and there's
asking
others
me-
that is.
Yeah, that's why I was telling her you did not include my husband VA benefits, which is $42,000 a year plus $12,000. He's receiving around $54,000.
Yeah, he's fine.
We don't need the affidavit of support, right?
You don't need it, just for the two of you, no.
Okay.
Right, because,
So
especially if
now
it's not
they're asking-
taxable, then it's almost like earning $100,000.
Is VA benefits
Yeah.
public charges?
No, it's not, because he gets disability because of a disability. So Donald
Okay, so
Trump,
now-
if Donald Trump didn't have bone spurs, which he didn't have,
Mhm.
and he went to Vietnam, which he didn't do, and if he got shot and disabled in Vietnam, which never happened, as a millionaire, he would get disability too. So it's
Yeah,
not
of course.
need based.
Yeah. Now, this is my question. My husband applied for benefits, which is actually automatic for a child and a wife for his monthly income benefits from the VA. Is that will affect
No, because none of it is need based.
Yeah, even we don't have yet our adjusted status.
None of it is need based. That I can't tell you. I don't know if, because I'm not a military attorney. I'm not a disability attorney. So let me stop by saying I don't know if as a you're basically a non-immigrant who is adjusting to lawful permanent resident status, whether or not VA benefits accrue to a non-LPR spouse. I don't know that for a fact if it does or it doesn't.
Yeah,
but I do
because
know that
confuses
if it
me.
does accrue to you, accrue means you're entitled to it.
Yeah, he
that,
was entitled.
Well, okay, I said if you're entitled to it, you're entitled to it. It doesn't affect your immigration. Just follow the law when it comes to
okay.
that. All right?
That will clear my,
All right,
I have sleepless nights with all of these questions to you.
Thank you.
You know, I've been trying to reach you a lot. You know, many times I watch your program
Thank
and
you.
I really admire you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much
All right.
for your enlightenment. So I don't need to file for affidavit of support.
No.
Though
But you have
my
to
daughter
be able to demonstrate all this income. You still got to demonstrate the income. You just can't say I get it. You got to show it.
Yes,
Right.
I will demonstrate
Okay.
the income. I will have to, submit the VA
Right, exactly,
benefits.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
But before my husband, when we submitted the first time in October 7, 2019, we already submitted my daughter and the husband for affidavit of support. They're receiving around 90,000.
So you did an extra one. Good. Doesn't matter. Doesn't hurt.
Oh, it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't hurt.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
so
be
much,
well.
Rod.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you very much. Don't let your husband hear that, but thank you. All right, let's go to Karen in Vicksburg, Mississippi, I guess. Karen.
Hi,
how are
Brian,
you?
how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I actually have 4 questions for you.
Oh my God, everybody! It was like, what was that Rodney Dangerfield movie when he went in for his
Oh,
final
sorry,
exam?
They're all related to each other, though.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw that. Back to school in the 1980s, Rodney Dangerfield went to he was going back to college, and the professor says, "I only got one question for you in 27 parts." That's what I feel like this question's going to be. All right, what's your questions?
Okay, so my husband owes unemployment.
Yeah.
He was overpaid, and now the unemployment department needs back their money. He's
Okay.
not on a payment plan. However, he calls in from time to time to pay whatever he can afford. Will this have an impact on my adjustment of status when I file it?
It shouldn't, because it's a I guess a judgment against him or a lien against him, but that doesn't affect poverty guideline determinations.
Okay. Do I need to put this on my form I-944 as a tax debt?
No, well, it's not your tax debt. It's a lien from a state government that your husband got overpaid on unemployment. I don't think it's from the tax authority. It would be the state's asking to get paid back, but I don't think that's taxes. That's a benefit he got that he was overpaid on, and they're saying pay it back. And the 944 form is all about you, not him. So based on what you're telling me, without me looking at all the documents, my ESP says you don't have to say it. But if you want to be 100% certain, let me look at the documents. But based on what you're telling me, just logically, it doesn't make sense that you would have to say it.
Okay. Okay. With that said, do I need to file separately while filing my taxes, or file married?
File married. If it's a tax debt, then you're going to be responsible for the tax debt. Then yes, you would have to. Is it coming from your taxes or from the state government? That's what I don't know.
Well, when we're filing married, it's going to cause me and him to owe both federal and state taxes. And
I know, but in other words, this overpayment by unemployment, is it a tax? I'm not sure. When you get if you get a unemployment check and you're not supposed to get it, that's not taxable. That's a state benefit, and they're saying they're clawing it back from you. I don't know if that's on your taxes, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, I would need to see all the documents to be 100% certain.
Okay, then I will need to make an arrangement with you for the contract.
Yeah, hold on.
My next question.
Oh, that's right. You have 4. I was putting you on hold. That's only 1.
Yes.
All right. All right.
So my next question is, I work as a teacher, but my job is offering me to continue my contract after receiving my green card. Do I need to fill out a supplement J form with my I-485?
What's the supplement J form? I don't even know what that is.
The supplement J form?
With the I-45?
It's the bona fide job offer form.
No, you don't need that. Just get a job. Just let them write on a piece of paper or a letter. This will confirm, Karen, you don't need to fill out a form for a bona fide job offer form.
Okay, right. I need to set up a consultation with you for the unemployment deal.
Yeah. All right, hold on. All right, let's go to Sharon in Queens. Sharon.
Hello, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Brad. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm calling. I have a nephew, and he was coming across the border in Mexico, and he get pulled by the immigration. He was 16 years old, and then they asked my nephew, a family member, to come and receive him to us. Then they receive him to us, and we never take him back to the immigration court. Then he end up went to the store and get pulled by with a lighter, and then they run him and to say immigration didn't come to the area.
How old is he now?
He's like 36 now, but they're all they're sending back in Jamaica. So my question is, can he come back, or I need a waiver to get him back here?
Well, you're not his you're his aunt, so you can't file.
Yeah,
for him.
I'm just asking the question for his mom.
Oh, for his mom.
Because she's at work. Yeah.
The mom conceivably can file back for him, depending on what his ultimate criminal records are. Will determine whether or not he can return. It sounds to me that whatever criminal records he has sounds like minor, petty stuff, but as long as it's not an aggravated felony, yes, there's a pathway for him to return if mom files for him and files a waiver down the line.
Okay, one more question is, like, if his mom, suppose he want to come here, like go to the embassy and get a visa, can he okay to go, or
No.
he need a waiver?
You need a waiver. If you're deported, you need a waiver forever.
Oh, I need a waiver for him. So how could I get that waiver?
Depends what he's doing. He can't come back to get a visitor's visa to come here. They're not going to give it to him.
Oh, he can't come back.
Not on a visit. I mean, he has to apply for a visa, be eligible for it, and then file for a waiver after he gets turned down. He's never going to get a visitor's visa because he's already shown an intent to live here in America and got deported. They're never giving deportees visitors visas to come back. It's very unlikely. And then he would need a waiver anyway. But maybe there's a different visa he may qualify for. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
All right. But probably you need a consultation down the line. Hold on. Thank you. All right. Let's go to Liz in Queens. Liz. Oops. Liz. Sorry about that. Liz.
Hi, Brad. Good
Hi.
night.
How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Did you try that ginger tea, turmeric and garlic?
I've had ginger tea. I don't know if I had it with the turmeric and garlic yet, so I'm
the
sorry.
turmeric and the garlic.
Yeah.
I called a couple weeks ago.
I know, and I said I would try it.
And
I said I would try it, and I didn't. So shame on
and
me.
it did not. So what should I do?
Send me.
Because you didn't try it, you disobeyed.
I am disobeyed, so shame on me. I have to. All right. So tomorrow, Jilly Bean. Okay, Jilly Bean, who is our producer, executive producer. All right. Jilly Bean, tomorrow for Tea with Brad, can we have ginger tea with turmeric and what's the other ingredient?
Garlic.
It's turmeric and what?
Garlic.
And garlic.
Garlic, ginger,
turmeric,
and
ginger
turmeric.
and turmeric.
Yes.
If this tea is available in New York City, I will be having it on the show tomorrow for Tea with Brad. How's that?
You making it? Is you not gonna make it?
I'm gonna make it. I just told you if it's available, I'm gonna do it. Well, we make things happen here on Bradshaw Live. What's your question?
And I know that. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I called you pertaining to my situation. I told you I came into the U.S. in October. That was October 13th of 2019, and you told me you there will be an amnesty pass, but you will not know under what I will be qualified.
Right.
So I have been listening to you every minute, every day. I sleep with my earphones in my ears, listening to you. So I believe I will be under the lawful prospective status. Am I right or wrong?
You are right. Assuming it passes as I described it. Assuming it passes as I described it, we'll see how it passes.
Okay, so I have another question. I have an 8-year-old son, and my first son is gonna be 21 in November. Do you think
how long have they been here in the U.S.?
My children, they're not here. My 8-year-old has his visa, but none of them are here. The 20-year-old
so
does not have a visa.
you would get a green card and eventually be able to file for them down the line if they're not here in the U.S.
Okay, but my 8-year-old, since not he have a visa, he would I get any problem with me coming to the United States?
No. He'll come visit, but you wouldn't be able to.
Yes, I mean visit.
Right. Visit, yes. Get him a green card, not for years down the line.
Okay, Brad.
All right.
Thank you.
Hang in there. Thank
and
you.
I love you too.
Right.
I heard one of your callers say, I love you too.
I'm so loved tonight. It makes me feel so good.
I
Thank
love
you.
you too.
Thank you, Liz. All right. Well,
Bye-bye.
now I really got to drink your tea tomorrow. All right. Let's go to Jason in Morristown, New Jersey. Jason.
Hey, Brad. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's going on?
I got just a simple question, a really simple question. What if somebody overstayed travel visa for a couple of years and then win green card in lottery? Does he have to go back to home country to finish process?
Yes, and then you would have a 10-year bar, so it doesn't work out for you as the law stands right now, because there's a 3 and 10-year bar. Now, assuming in the Biden amnesty laws that they eliminate that 3 and 10-year bar, which they're talking about, then yes, you would be able to go home and come back. But right now, no.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. You helped me a lot.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's go to Andre in Hollywood, Florida. Andre.
Hey, good night.
Hi,
Brad.
good night. How are you?
I'm good. Hope
What's
you
going
are
on?
good.
I'm trying
good
my
night,
best.
everyone on the live. Quick question
Yes.
to you, Brad. In 2017, October 2017, I came to the U.S. on a visitor's visa. And my mom, she filed a petition for me, an I-130. But at the time, when she filed the I-130, she was a resident. She was a green card holder.
Right.
Last year, about October, she filed her citizenship, right? I'm over the age of 21 when I came to the U.S. And she filed the I-130. Is it possible that process can... however, when she filed it, we got a notification letter from...
What is your
USCIS.
is your question, can I get my green card here in America?
Yeah.
Okay. When did your mom file for you originally?
October 2017.
Okay. How did your mother get her green card?
Oh, she got it from her mom. Her mom.
Okay. When did your mom get her green card?
She got her green card in 2015.
Okay. And how old is she?
She's 45.
And is she single or married?
No, she's 55. Sorry. She's single.
Single, okay. Do you know when Grandma started filing for Mom? Do you remember the time?
Maybe about 10 years ago.
All right. All right, so you're not going to be 245I because the case started after April 2001. And Mom has her green card. You're over 21. Mom's filing for you. At the present moment, you would have, if you overstayed your time here, you would have to do a provisional waiver to go home and come back. You wouldn't be eligible to adjust based on this particular case.
Okay, because she, being that she filed her citizenship and it has been approved.
Now, because you're over 21 years old, that's why.
Okay, so I would have to go home, get the waiver, and go home.
Yes, it's in this order: waiver first, then go home. If you go home and then apply for a waiver, you can be stuck there for a long time.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And by the way, if you did not get your immigration questions answered, we are going to be going to our social media check-in in about 2 or 3 minutes. Jonathan and Vanessa will be asking me your immigration questions. Also, you can, if you want to correspond with me or talk to me directly, you can follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. If you follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein, you're really talking to Real Brad Bernstein, me. You can drop me a DM, and I'll try to answer your immigration question best I can, or I'll tell you to make an appointment, or whatever I can do. I'm not fast, and I don't do it as soon as you text me. Sometimes I'm a little late, but I will answer everybody eventually. You can also follow us at Brad Show Live. If you follow us at Brad Show Live, as I say on every show, you can't handle 2 hours of this show, but you can handle 2 minutes. Our best 2 minutes, you're going to see it on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And Jonathan?
Yes, you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
And later, I'm going to be speaking with professional trumpeter Kiku Collins about her career, her battle with breast cancer, and her family's immigration story.
Yes, and before we get to social media check-in, now it's time for What's Your Immigration Story, where we speak to people who have shared their personal immigration journeys with us.
Actually born in Atlanta, but our parents immigrated. They basically came to, pursue schooling, but to pursue a better life because there wasn't a lot of opportunities. And we're just grateful that they've actually been able to achieve it because we have had family members who've been deported. So just that our immediate family is able to stay here, we do appreciate it.
My family is third generation from the village of Harlem. My family also hails from the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
My husband's oldest child, he filed for us actually. And so now I am legal, as they say. I don't think there is an illegal human being, but...
Came here in 2014 for a better life. Ever since I moved here to New York, I've seen a lot of growth. I'm very, very humble, and I'm very excited for that.
I came in 1986. I came as a visitor. My husband was here already. He had green card. Then I applied for green card. And I was in London working for Bangladesh consulate in London, so it was easy for me to get visa. Some people are still struggling. They're following all the rules of America. We came here for this reason, to have a better life, but nothing is free here. We also have to have our identity. We will be a proud American. We're going to obey the rules of America, but we don't want to lose our identity.
I was born in Bangladesh, and I came here sharing my feelings, my events to everyone in this country.
One side of my family is rumored to have come over with Lafayette in the Revolutionary War on the French side, but more recently, my great-grandfather came over here to escape the Austrian-Prussian War. He was a stowaway at the age of 14. I find that we share more in common than we have differences, and that's why it's important.
All right, let's do something we like to call social media check-in. Let's see what we got.
All right, our first one comes from Christy Consali on Facebook, VIP Brad Squad member. Remember, if you guys want to throw in your questions anytime throughout the day, we will ask these questions before any of the social media check-in. All you have to do is go into the search engine in Facebook and put Brad Squad, and you just have to press join and we will accept it. All right. Now, if Biden's amnesty bill is actually passed, will all lawful prospective immigrants qualify?
No, not everybody. We went through it. If you have to watch both Thursday's episode and today's episode, and you'll get a whole list of who's going to qualify.
Naisha Clark, who is another Brad Squad VIP member, asks, under Biden's new immigration laws, can a sibling file for another sibling?
Presumably, they haven't changed that.
Nadine Stewart, another VIP Brad Squad member. When will the family proclamation ban be lifted for the F4 category?
We don't know for a fact, but it's due to expire on March 31st. So it will be lifted by being expired and not being renewed by Joe Biden. That's what we're all hoping.
D Forbes, another Brad Squad VIP member on Facebook. My daughter and I got our B1 visa canceled because I misinterpreted. Now I got married to a U.S. citizen. What is the process for filing?
Well, it depends what you misinterpreted. Was it a misrepresentation? If you made a misrepresentation, your spouse is going to file for you and you're going to need a waiver. If it's just you couldn't show non-immigrant intent, then just your wife files for you without a waiver. So it depends on why you got denied or why you had your visa taken away. I don't know enough.
Okay, Francisca Amorni on Facebook. I have a friend who came to the U.S. on an F1 visa, but he was unable to attend school when she arrived. She recently got married. How does President Biden's bill affect her change of status?
It doesn't. She's going to file an adjustment of status and hope that she doesn't need a waiver for misrepresentation because she never showed up to school, not even for a day. That's going to be her bigger problem.
Princess Rashima on Facebook. My husband's brother sponsored us in 2018. We are waiting on priority date. Is it possible we might be eligible for amnesty?
It's possible. We believe that anyone who overstayed their time or as a pending asylum who was here on January 1st, 2021 should be eligible.
Joanna Serpa on YouTube. I came to the USA in 2002 and I was kidnapped in Las Vegas in 2006
God.
and taken to Mexico.
Oh my God.
Yikes. Okay, after a year and a half, I was released and sent back to my home country. I finally came back in 2018. Do I qualify for DACA?
No, because you weren't here between January 7th and 12th. Although you got kidnapped, you may be eligible for a T visa. A person who's been trafficked. That's what you would get, a T visa.
Carrie Harriet on Instagram, in regard to immigration reform, a child's maximum age for a step-parent filing is 21. Does that go for LPR parents as well, or just citizens?
Well, LPR parents can file for children over 21. They're just on a visa waiting list now. All right, 2 more.
Carol Edwards, this is email. If my mom has been a permanent resident since 2018 and I'm here in the US with her and she filed for me in 2019, how long will it take until I can even adjust my status?
I don't know if you can adjust if you've overstayed your visa and you're over 21, you're not going to be eligible.
And last one comes from Evangelist Carmen Reed on Facebook. If I have a B1, B2 visa and I've been here since December of 2020, am I eligible for lawful permanent residency?
Not just because you came here on a tourist visa. Just coming here on a tourist visa doesn't entitle you to anything other than visit Mickey Mouse in the Empire State Building. You got to have a sponsor to get a green card or show your extraordinary ability or asylum or something. Just visitor's visa, magically it happens, and that doesn't happen that way. All right, so professional trumpeter Kiku Collins has performed and toured with some of the world's biggest entertainers, including Beyonce, Michael Bolton, and Jill Scott. Kiku spoke to us about her career, her courageous battle against cancer, and her own immigration story. Let's watch.
My name is Kiku Collins, and I am a trumpet player. I started playing trumpet in the 4th grade. The teacher said to me, you should probably play the clarinet or the flute, you know, more ladylike. And I have been playing ever since. I went to Manhattan School of Music to study classical trumpet with Mel Broyles. Eventually, I found my voice in the pop, commercial, disco, anything that glitters world, which definitely fit my personality a little more. I started off touring with Beyonce in 2006. I toured with her for about a year, and I popped over to the Michael Bolton world. I played and sang with him for about 3 years or so. And of course, in between all of this, I'm freelancing, I'm doing little TV things here and there for other artists. But I have been playing with Gloria Gaynor for almost 6 years now. 75% of the gigs that I do are all turning points where I say, there's no way this could get any better. But of course, 2 of the most epic gigs I've ever done were at the White House for President Obama. It is pretty amazing when you get to walk up to the most amazing president ever and shake his hand, and he looks you right in the eye and he says, it's nice to see you. He didn't even say meet, it's nice to see you. And then the second time, he remembered me from the previous time. So I'm going, what? When I said hi to Michelle, we had almost the same dress on. And she's, hold on, we're wearing almost the same dress. I was like, it's probably not the same dress. It was amazing. And so, you know, I stood next to her in the picture and we were all matchy-matchy. I can't believe my life, honestly. I had gotten married. It was pretty amazing. It was magical. A month after our wedding, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a little nuts, actually, because, you know, after such a happy thing, you're thinking, this is great, I'm starting my life over, and it's like, oh, that's not how I meant to start it over. Of course, you know, I had all these bookings, I had all this work, I was at a 5-week gig. It was so crazy when this all happened. When we first met with the breast surgeon that we had picked, my first thought is, okay, how do we fix this? He said, well, you know, we need to schedule surgery. And I looked at him, I said, man, I'm gonna have to cancel some really cool gigs. And he said, no. I said, but I'm dying. He said, yeah, we have to move, but what do you have? And I said, well, I have 2 television shows to tape. He said, okay. My mastectomy was 2 days after that second TV show, which was good because my brain was so overwhelmed and occupied that I couldn't think, oh, poor me, you know. I mean, it sucked, but I didn't have a moment to really think. In my business, I didn't want to tell people what was going on because I've seen it happen to other people where they basically get written off. So while I was recovering from my mastectomy, I'm, walking around with the drains. It's all disgusting and I can barely move. I felt so hopeless. Like, what could I do? And then the 2 shows that I had just taped aired while I was recovering. So nobody knew because they saw me, oh, she's doing great. This is, oh, there she is again. I was hobbling around like an old lady at home, like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. When I came back into the scene, I was, starting my reconstruction and still didn't tell anyone. Then I started going through radiation. Didn't tell anyone. The radiation was awful. But because I hadn't been telling people, I had to keep my game face, because that's what I do. We finally came out of the cancer closet, as I like to call it. There's a brass players trade magazine called the Brass Herald, published out of England. We were interviewed for that magazine. And I had been in it a few times before, but they interviewed us as a couple. So on the front cover, you see this picture of the 2 of us and, oh, it's so cute. Yeah, they got married recently, blah, blah, blah. But then you open it and you start reading the article and you're going, whoa, hold on, what? It's not about really being a musician. This is about getting cancer. That's how we basically told the world. It's been this ongoing rocky road ever since. I won't say that I stopped certain treatments because of my career, but it definitely was a factor. I lost me. It sucked. But I've been able to pretty much do almost everything I would have done. A little harder now, but what am I doing? I'm on more of a holistic path now, which kind of goes back to my mother's roots, which I really like. She was not a huge fan of Western medicine. My mother came here to the United States from Fukuoka, Japan. She met my father when he was in the military, got married in Japan, and that was back in the 60s. The 60s in America were very different than the 60s in Japan. This was the era of powerful women getting towards that gender equality, and knowing my mother's personality, absolutely perfect. It wasn't just about acceptance, it was about really embracing it. That was a struggle of hers growing up, being very independent and very stubborn and not really being welcome as that character. They moved to New Jersey. That's where I was born. The only person other than my brother that looked like this half Japanese, half German, Scottish, English, Native American. Feeling like I'm in this place where I'm allowed to do things that my mother couldn't do. There were still obstacles, like playing the trumpet as a woman was not smiled upon. My mother really integrated so well. She was the mom who went on every class trip, came in and taught the kids how to do origami. I mean, I have friends that still talk about that. Hey, I remember when your mom taught me origami. She was a really good cook, but she could cook anything. And I think that's another thing that moving here, that's a gift that she got from this country was, wait, there's more than just Japanese food. This is great. And so she, made killer Hungarian goulash, which I now make. When I was in grade school, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. She lived with it for 10 years. But I think one thing that was really important to her was she had a network of people. She had doctors that really, really loved her. And you're allowed to talk about it here. And actually, her sister did pass away from it. I remember my mom came home one night and she said, oh, I was just talking to so-and-so and she's getting reconstruction. If she were in Japan, she wouldn't have had that conversation. I was basically raised to believe that I can just do things. And when you get a call to play at the White House, you think, well, of course I can do that because my mom took piano lessons and she threw pizza in the air. When you're born and raised here, to parents who were born and raised here, this is kind of taken for granted. I mean, you can push everything in this country. If you want to do something, just go do it. That doesn't happen over there. That doesn't happen in most places. And I travel the world. I just think I'm so lucky. If I weren't born here, I wouldn't be a musician. I probably would have been scared off before I started. I don't know where I would be or what I would be doing, but I'm guessing I wouldn't be as happy as I am. I mean, that's my mom. This is my life. I have a voice and I can say, I don't agree with you. I'm pretty sure you can't do that everywhere. And if you can, where do you find that strength to go ahead and do it. You know, you need an example, and one of them was my mother. This is my American dream. I mean, this is it.
All right, let's put 50
Beautiful.
seconds.
Wait.
Oh, what?
Before we do this, we actually got it mixed up with Christy Gonzalez's question, so I just want to ask her question real quick.
What?
She said, "Hey Brad, if this bill actually passes, the people that would qualify for or get LPIS, if they happen to get married to a U.S. citizen during the 5 years, will they be able to adjust to a green card or not?"
Presumably, they would be able to do it through the marriage and wouldn't have to wait the 5 years.
Cool. Thank you.
Right. All right. Now we're ready for 50 seconds on the clock. 9 immigration questions. This is either when we show off or look like dunces, one or the other.
We've been doing good so far.
We've been doing good so far. Let's keep showing off and not look like dunces. You ready?
Let's do it. Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Can I file for my best friend?
No.
What visa can I use to bring my fiance to the U.S.?
K1.
If my I-130 is denied, can I try again?
Yes, of course.
What is a provisional waiver?
It allows you to go home and avoid a 3 and 10 year bar based on hardship.
Will Biden's citizenship test be easier than Trump's?
Yes.
Can I have 2 affidavits of support?
One from your prospective sponsor and one from an additional person who's a resident or citizen, yes.
Has Biden repealed Trump's Muslim ban?
Yes.
Is a green card holder a lawful permanent resident?
Same thing.
How long do I have to wait until I can file a mandamus?
1 year from the last time you heard from immigration.
Oh,
wow.
Wow,
that was, with time to spare, man. We didn't look like dunces. We look like three brilliant people. Am I supposed to dance?
Oh, victory dance.
All right. All right. Comments of the day, guys.
Comments of the day.
Right. What do we got?
All right. Our first comment of the day comes from Don Harriet. Said, "Brad, you're the best. What would we do without this great immigration show?"
Oh, thank you. We say that every day, too.
Yes.
Not that I'm the best, the great immigration show.
Right.
Right. Let's get the second part. No, I'm not the best. It's okay. But thank you.
The next one comes from Yuli King. And they say, "Hi, Brad, Yo-Yo, Vanessa, squad up. Very professional staff led by Brad. I am most impressed by the level of honesty and integrity that comes along with the advice he gives. Would recommend 100%.
Aw, thank you very much.
Awesome. All right, our third comment of the day comes from Miloslav Minkov saying, "If you don't want to lose those good immigration news, you need to come and schmooze with Uncle Brad and the squad."
Okay.
Yes. I thought it was going to
I thought it was going to be a poem, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for it, too.
Right.
And my comment today from Mamet Christian saying, "Squad up. I love Uncle Brad, always sharing his knowledge, updating the Brad family on great immigration news."
All right. Well, thank you all. Appreciate all the nice comments. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll be getting into the rest of our immigration news. Will be some schmoozing. As we know more about the Biden immigration law, we'll be updating you. I'm not going to keep repeating it the same thing every day, but as we learn more, we will be updating you. Have a great night. See you all tomorrow. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465.